So as you can see here, we have the S13 dash. I am going to try for the first time in my life to reupholster a very curved dash piece. So the only way to find out is giving it a go, and that's what we're about here at Twisted Metal Customs, is just getting it and having a go and learning by doing. And if you're following it at home, I'm sure you're in the same mindset. So what I'm going to do is, if you run your fingers over your crack of your dash, you will feel that it's raised. So basically it's cracked, and over time it's done that, and that's what you don't want sticking out your new top of your vinyl. So what I'm going to do is chop it out on a 45-degree angle-ish, just to back a bit so it's got a nice section for the stuff to go. See, now if I put bog in there, it's going to be nice and smooth. I can sand it down. I'm going to sand the whole lot down anyway, but that will give me a nice surface on top. You won't know there's anything underneath it. And if you really wanted to, you could probably put like a layer of thin foam over the top and then put the vinyl if you wanted like cushion, but I'm happy with just the way it looks. So I'm going to go ahead through and cut all these cracks out. Cool. Now if you're wondering if, oh my god, he's wrecked his dash, then you are correct. I've wrecked my dash. Show's over. See you later. Go home. No, well yes I have, obviously, but it was already wrecked, and also it has a hole in it here from a big boost gauge that I wanted to cover up because I wanted to put my boost gauge somewhere else. That gives me the go ahead to do this and give it a go with no bad repercussions. So if you have a nice-ish dash that you're going to do this on, just make sure you let's just wait until the end and see if this works before you give it a go. So I've cut out all the cracks, and as you can see there was a lot of them, and yeah, so all I've done is done 45 degree. Anything that had a crack in it, I've just done enough so the bog can take hold, and yeah, so that's where we're up to on this. And this is probably the point where if you want to do a fully sick custom dash and you put your TMC logo in there or something cool, now you could do it. You could either glue down bits of timber or MDF and make your own design, or if you wanted like a lip or whatever, now's the time to do it. I don't think I'm going to do that yet. I'll see how I go with after I bog it, but I just wanted this to be a clean, slick looking Silvia, so I'm not going to do anything crazy on it. But basically wherever you got a crack or a hole, just make sure you dig out the foam enough so it has like a nice 45 lip, nothing real skinny, because any too skinny it can just like peel out or whatever, so give it a bit of room to grab onto. As you can see, I've cut out some glorious leftover VH Commodore parts. So I've just molded it with the heat gun, so I just basically cut out to what I roughly want, and just be careful when it's cold because it's brittle and it'll crack. So I'm going to try to plaster weld the bottom section in, and then I can heat up the top and then keep molding it down to suit. So I'm going to give this a go. This is my Fandancy plastic weld adapter. It's a bit of wire wrapped around the top of the soldering iron without, getting plastic all over that. I'll give that a go. It's melting here, but it's too slow. All right, scrap that idea. Anyway, let's give that a go at plastic welding now. See if this works. So I'm just gonna see if I can fuse them together. Ow. Yeah, it's hot. Who would have thought it was hot? Oh, yep. I gotta fix that. So what I might do is get the heat gun and just bend that corner down, and I'll get that fixed in, bend this corner back up. It's actually starting to move by itself downwards. So whatever side you heat is going to expand more than the bottom side. So it's the same as metal work, it's going to move the panel down. I'm just going to push down a bit to help it along. Alright, now let that cool in a new position and continue to weld. You just make do with what you got to make do with. And that's a soldering iron for us. Well, you can see that that section is done. It's actually like quite strong for what I want anyway. And I'm going to put another top coat of resin, some sort, epoxy resin on top. Okay, so that is the bottom section. Now I've got the cheap ass heat gun. I'm going to start heating up that section there and then just folding that over. And that is fully plastic welded. Still a bit warm, but that is super duper strong. Nothing that I'm going to be doing is going to be breaking that. It's just pushing up pretty hard. That's pretty good. That actually turned out better than I expected. It took a lot longer than I expected, maybe about an hour. But yeah, maybe that's my soldering iron I'm using, but I'm happy with that already. All I'm going to be doing is sanding with 80 grit or 100 grit, just up around everywhere, just so it has a nice tooth for that bog to grab into. Knock out any loose fluff or anything, any of that old crap in here. And then yeah, basically just lather the bog on. And it's a Rage Coat premium lightweight filler. You could probably choose something different, maybe more flexible or whatever, but that's what I've got and that's what I'm using. I'm hoping by this afternoon we can get that vinyl stretched over that. So far it's tracking pretty good and well, good news so far. So yeah, I'll be back with you in a jiffy. Two things. Just saw a 5-foot brown snake come in the doorway as I was walking out to get the air hose and pretty much nearly stood on his head. And in that process came back and knocked the soldering iron onto the ground and stood on it with my thongs. Well, my thong came off, stood on it, and yeah, you can see that's the, ooh yeah, soft. That's the hot part, and then that's the tip where it went into my foot. And it is quite sore. That's why you wear safety gear in the shed. You know? All right. Caffeine will fix things. All right, we'll be back. Go try to find this snake. Alrighty, so it's been a couple more hours and I've had some lunch, blah blah blah, but I've been going to and fro by putting the bog on and then sanding it back, layer by layer. Do it in layers if you can. You're not going to get it all in one go anyway. So this is what it looks like now. I've just put a fresh coat of bog here where all those cracks were, but I think this will be the last pass with the bog, and then I'm actually thinking of just hitting it with some epoxy primer because it's super durable, sticks to anything and it seals it. That's where we're up to. I'm going to keep going and I'll show you once I epoxy it, so that when it's flashing off. And then we can get started on this vinyl. Well, we've got a fair bit done. You see that it is pretty well taken shape. I have to do a little bit more work here where that deeper bog is. You can see that it's starting to shrink back. So I'm going to let that cure for a couple of hours, maybe until tomorrow morning, and then give it another skim. I'll put a little bit of epoxy primer on top, and you can bog over epoxy anyway, so it doesn't bother me. But it's just this piece here and that little section there that need a shape. A little bit of sunken in here, but I'm going to give it a few hours to cure, just to see if any shrink back happens. I don't want it to shrink back after I put the vinyl on. But already that's a huge difference to what it was, as you can remember. If you did want to do vinyl, you could do the exact same thing, just cut your V's a little bit smaller so you're not putting as much bog in. That's probably what I do next time. You know, do maybe 3 to 5 mil each side of the crack, rather than like, you know, I had a pretty big crack. So that's a lesson learned for me and passing on to you. So if you're going to keep that the same, you could just literally paint that with a satin, you know, vinyl paint or whatever you want to, you know, have it somewhat the same as what you had before. And I don't think it's going to ever match the same as the plastic look, like the vinyl, but you can get vinyl paints, but you'll have to get it pretty well spot on. So this is the vinyl that I have had in storage. It's pretty good. I think it's supposed to be like a pleather, but it feels pretty nice. It's going to look pretty good if I can get it to work. And I've got to do lots of shrinking with the heat gun, and yeah, I don't know how it'll go, but I think it cost me like 50 bucks for like semi-roll of that stuff. So it's not a huge cost for trying something different, just giving it a go. And you know, saves me probably 800 bucks for a new dash that's not cracked. So plus I'm learning. The more you can do at home, the more you're going to save, because it's very expensive to do restorations, as you know. Alrighty, there's the dash finished. Pretty good, huh? So that's the final finishing off on the top. I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty smooth. I mean, it's just going to be vinyl top, so it's not 100% perfect, but it's going to be pretty flat. I don't think we'll see too much popping through the vinyl top. And as I said before, I'm just putting vinyl down. If you really wanted to do, you know, foolproof way, you just get a thin 5mm foam and just glue that down first, and you've got a buffer then, and you'll have a nice foam dash. Cover up any of your dodgy sanding and bog work, but I'm happy enough with mine. So I'm going to struggle now. I have no idea how this is going to go. I'm going to start at the top. I've got some steel pegs from the clothesline. They seem pretty sturdy to be able to peg it all into place till I get it all chopped out. What I'm going to do is roughly cut it to shape, and then I'm going to get some glue. I've got some spray adhesive there. When I think I'm ready to start putting it on, I'm just going to stretch it with a heat gun, heat it up enough so you don't burn it. I've got a hat on so you can hear me. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so use the heat gun. Don't get it too hot, otherwise it's going to melt and catch on fire. So just keep your gun moving, so I've been told from YouTube. And yeah, hopefully this turns out alright, and if it works alright, then do what I do. But if it doesn't work out, don't do what I do. Well, I've sort of finished, but I actually ran out of glue for the second time. Long story, I tried to use Araldite instead of the actual proper glue, and it didn't work. Well, it sort of worked, but it made it harder. And anyway, I ran out of glue. The glue I was using is this 3M Super 77. So it was pretty good. I think it's pretty dear by memory, like 40 bucks or something. I can't remember actually. But I'm going to get some more of that because it worked well with the heat gun. Like you could rework it over and over and it stayed tacky, and where it was is good. But it's not the best, but for my first attempt I'm super happy, and it's way better than what it was. There's two sections that I'm not extremely happy with, but it is what it is because of the dash. So let's go. Reveal. This is what it looked like before. Cool. And this is what it looks like now. So that's basically, they're going to be the shape and the final product. So that's my vents. This section's not done yet. This one here is where the Araldite went. Didn't really work. It's all lifting up, so I'll do that again as well. But you get the idea. That's what I'm trying to say, is that this is my first attempt, and look at that. Like, if it looks pretty good now, when it's all tucked in the car and all covered up with vents, it's going to look freaking awesome. Get yourself some of these pegs, or if you've got some good strong pegs, that helped a lot. So yeah, I've got some stretchy parts here from stretching all that and then back around under there, and same as this side. Not as bad, but I can live with that. I can live with that for sure. So I'm pretty stoked actually. Alright guys, that's it. And I got one job for you guys. Instead of liking and subscribing, I'd rather you tell a friend about my channel that you think that might like my content, because I know that you all have a mate or a couple of mates that are into cars. You know, if I can get even 1 out of 5 of yous to share my channel, and I can grow that way, because I do want to make something of this channel, and I guess my personality is not building it as fast as I wanted it to do, and I'm putting a lot of my time and effort into it. So that's one call to action for you guys. If you don't mind doing that for me, it'd mean a lot. Yeah, and then if you don't want to do that, just smash that like. At least that would be good. I can't talk anymore. I need beer. I've been standing up for 5 hours. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have an awesome weekend. Twisties out of here.